It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Oh, we're getting Saturday podcasts now because we're on the streak to get to 100. That's right, Saturday podcast. What is going on? It's Friday night when I'm recording this. USA soccer advances to the round of 32 with a big win today at Lumen Field because that is where the Super Bowl champions, America's sport, resonated into the other football, soccer, and got, I believe, Seahawks Power gives Team USA a little bit of extra push there. And they win 2-0. Big win today for USA. I'm excited about it. I've been obsessed with World Cup. I just watch. One thing that is interesting as I'm getting older and I have kids and like a lot of the weekends I'm here by myself. Like tonight, it kind of sucks. It's Friday night. I'm just at home. If you had told me a long time ago I would just be hanging out at home alone on Friday nights, I would have been like, yeah, right, dude. No. My wife is the one who's out of the concerts, out and about on a Friday night, and I find myself sitting here. I'm gonna watch what's the game that's coming up, or it might have just started. Let's see. I have a point to this. Brazil's up 3-0. Ugh, at the time of my recording, that's not even going to be worth watching. But what I was going to say is, I find myself just since I'm home, I've just been watching every single World Cup game. In the evenings. And the thing that's weird about now as opposed to years before, with 3 kids, I just kind of am hanging on for dear life a lot of times. And we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of things happening. I used to really I had the brain space to take in World Cup teams. I would learn player names. I would get excited about certain teams. I have watched, what team was it? They played last night. Hang on. I've watched both their games, and it's in their entirety. It was Mexico. Duh. I've watched both Mexico games in their entirety. They have that one guy James, and that's all I know. And I've watched 4 hours of them play, and I know 2 names or 1 name. It's crazy. I used to be able to watch sports and just absorb everything and know players and at least know 2 players off every team. Now it's just Mexico. That is Mexico striker. That is Mexico goalie. That's where I'm at. So I'm going to go watch Brazil. Probably. If not, I don't know, man. What am I going to do on a Friday night? What am I going to do? I might finally watch Vox Machina. I love Critical Role, Dungeons and Dragons, actual play that goes down there in campaign 4 right now. But they created a cartoon of their first campaign, which was, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And they created a cartoon out of it, and I guess it's really good. And so I've been wanting to watch it forever. So I think maybe I'll start that tonight. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's what my riveting Friday night will be. I text Mike out of desperation. I was like, dude, come over. And he's like, oh, his girlfriend's father-in-law or his girlfriend's dad is in town. And apparently he gets precedence. Thanks a lot, Mike. World Cup fever, though. World Cup fever. Okay, I wanted to talk about a golf thing that happened on our golf trip because I thought this was really fun. And it's something that I'd highly recommend all golf groups get. I need to look up the brand again. The golf trip this year, I do a golf trip every year. It is, let me type it in here. Okay. Is this them? Is this them? Is this them? Is this them? Yeah, this is them. Ooh, okay. Price tag. Andy and John, you paid for these. Okay. So, golf trip. Do it every year. I go with Andy, Jeremy, Johnny Boy. We go to the same place. We go to Portland, Oregon. We golf at Wildwood Golf Course. We golf there 2 times on Friday, 2 times on Saturday. That's what we do. And it's not changing. So people, there's lots of people get very bothered by this when I'm talking to them. Why don't you go to other courses? We get asked that more than anything. And we've done this for many, many years now. and we love it. And still, like I know people have asked me this. The same person has asked me this every year. Multiple people. They'll be like, "Why don't you do different golf courses?" And I'm thinking, now that we've done it like 6-7 years, I would assume you would just not even ask that question. It's going to be the same. We love this course. We love golfing it. We stay at a hotel right down the road from it. It's just what we do. It's what we do. And then we catch up. We have a great time. We golf. So we golfed this year. I went in with a different mindset. I had gone in all the previous years thinking, okay, I'm going to try to break 100. And what that did for me is it made me focus more on breaking 100 than having fun with my friends. So I don't see, right? They live in Spokane. I'm out here in Lexington. And this year, it finally hit me where I was like, I crave Johnny Boy, Andy, and Jeremy's company. I crave hanging out and just talking about sports and goofs and catching up on the year and just talking about things. I need to mark this down because I have something I want to get off my chest that I think maybe people don't need to hear it. I'm going to write it down here. I'm going to try to remember it. I'm going to put it on top of the mouse. Okay. So I craved it. So I was like, I want to go and make sure that fun is the focus this year. So I didn't care about breaking 100, not even a little bit. And so it's funny because the first round I played great. I actually shot a 101, probably could have broke 100. And then, we had some hot dogs, we had some beverages, we switched it up in the afternoon. You're a little bit more tired. We're joking around, and I shot like a 106, and that was it. Then it was like a 106 to 109 a range, 106 to 115 range on Saturday. But it was so much fun. We had a blast golfing, and we had a blast just catching up. We had a blast going to bed at 7 o'clock. This was the saddest part, and I need to change this next year. Coming from Eastern Standard Time to the Pacific to a Pacific Standard Time, and entering a world where my kids aren't there, and I don't have the daily stresses of whether it's parenting or work or whatever. I would get done golfing. We were tired from golfing. I fell asleep one of the nights at 8:50. I think I fell asleep the other night at like 8:10. That's bad. I need late nights with the boys. And I let them down this year, but I was just exhausted. I was exhausted from golf, and we started early. So, to me, we're starting at 3 o'clock. Well, I think one of the days we woke up at 6. I think our tee time was 6:45. So we were out of the hotel at 6:10, 6:15, and we're up in the 5 o'clock hour, which is the 2 o'clock hour for my brain. So my body was all screwed up, but I want to stay up later next time so that I can hang out a little bit more. I want to get to some stuff here. Croc X, C-R-O-C or K-R-O-C X. These are Amazon's version of Turtlebox. If you know Turtlebox, they are speakers. They're portable Bluetooth speakers. You get one, you get multiple, and they all connect via Bluetooth. So they make these, and you can get them on your golf cart. They make an Amazon version. Now I'm looking at the price. They're $150 per speaker. We had 2 of them. And they sit in your golf cart. They have magnets on them, so technically they can stick to your golf cart with like the frame. One of them worked really well on the frame. The other one Andy had on his golf bag, an umbrella. He brought like an umbrella, and the umbrella had a tie on it. He just ripped that tie off, and we tied it on to the golf cart, and it worked great. But we would get about 150 yards away, 150 yards away, and these 2 speakers would still be connected, playing the same music. So it's fun to have, for us anyways, it was fun to have music on our golf carts, and to have them playing the same music, because in the years past, John has been the only one with a speaker. So if you're in John's cart, you get the music. And you know how golf goes. You split off immediately, and then you reconvene at the hole. So it's fun to have the same music playing in both carts, and so each person got to like take turns playing DJ for a round or 2, and that was really fun. So it was just, these things are great. I'd highly recommend them. That, like I said, they're not cheap. They're fairly expensive, but they're all these Croc X ones, an alternative to Turtle Boxes, because Turtle Boxes are like $250 a speaker. These work great. We had a ton of fun with them. One of the things that was the best part, the featured moment with these. So we've had a good day on Saturday, and we're starting to unfortunately feel the Sunday scaries of the end is near. And we are getting into the back nine of our last round. Reality is sinking in that the trip is coming to a close, and you just feel that heavy heart and you're bummed. And so we started to slow down a little bit. And if there was people behind us, we were slowing down enough just to let people play through. So we could just stay in our cart and chat. So we'd get on the cart and we'd chat and stuff. And this is probably bad golf etiquette, but there was a lot of twosomes behind us. So they started to push us, and we were like, let's just let them go through. Some people now, we're annoying at this point. We'd had a good day that day with a couple beverages. We're feeling pretty good, and we're just laughing. We just laughed so much. It was great. So this first couple comes through. It's on a par 3. They were right up against us. We're like, look, why don't you play through? And we wanted it to be on this par 3 because we can see if someone hits a hole in one. That's like we want to see it. And this girl in this group almost nailed it. It was huge. So they play through, and then another group, we let the group behind them play through. So we let two groups of two twosomes play through. Second group was not having us. They were like, we don't like you here. We don't like you at all. Why are you talking to us? And so we realized that real quick. They just hit and got out of there. So we're continuing on. We get to I think it was hole 15, and there's a group behind us that is not very good. But they were kind of getting close to us. And we were like, let's just let them play through. This will be fun. You shouldn't let these people play through because we're way faster. But we want to just kind of savor these last couple holes. So they come up, they finish this par 3. There's a long par 5. And we're like, you guys want to play through? And they're like, yeah, we're not good. We're like, that's totally fine. And they're like, no, we're not good. We all shoot in the 120s and above. I'm like, well, yes, preach. We're like, dude, don't worry about it. Play through. We're just taking our time. They're like, okay, cool. So one of the guys had a Creed sweatshirt on that he's golfing in. It was great. So first guy goes, hits it 5 yards, and then throws his ball because he's worried. Why do these guys let us play through? Next guy goes, hits one down in the rough. Next guy goes, and the Creed guy goes, and he just buries his into a hill that's just all marsh or all just bushes. The ball's gone. It's gone. Been gobbled up by the hillside. And so Johnny looks at him, and it's like, look, we had these John got these buzz balls on the second day. They're just wild. They're wild. They're wild. Stay away. So John got these buzz balls, and he's like, look, dude, if you chug a buzz ball, we'll give you a mulligan. We're not even golfing with him. And the guy's like, are you serious? Like, yeah, dude. And his group's looking at him like, wait, what? How are these guys giving you mulligans? Anyways, so we throw him the buzz ball, and I look at his shirt and I see it's Creed, and I was playing the music at that time. So again, shout out to these Croc speakers. This is all just promotional for Croc speakers. A very unofficial sponsor of today's podcast. So this guy's tries to crush this buzz ball. He can't. He makes it on halfway through, gives it to his buddy who finishes most of the rest of it. And he gets up to the tee box to hit his mulligan. And I load Creed up onto our speakers, and I turn our speakers up to max volume. And as this guy is going to tee up his shot, whatever, this kid absolutely loses his mind in the best way possible. He hits a shot. It's pretty bad, but it goes, and he starts jumping in the air, just hitting his chest, yeah. And he looks at us, and he's like, "How did you know? How did you know? I love these guys." And we're like, "It's on your sweatshirt, dude." And he's not listening to us. He's like, "Did you go to the Ridgeview or Ridgeline show? Were you guys there?" We're like, "No, dude." I'm like, "No, man, I played it because it's on your sweatshirt." He's like, "These guys really he just couldn't process." He's jumping around on the green. These guys get in the cart. They're like, yeah, they're going crazy. And they just are screaming as they take off 50 yards to get their drives down in the fairway in front of us. It was awesome. So is it a good story? I don't know. It's a story I wanted to share today. These things are great. I'd highly recommend these speakers. And when you get two of them close, they get super loud. And so, we had a Creed party. This guy went nuts. I mean, he went nuts. It was awesome. Good times. Golf trip was a huge success. And I would, if you golf a lot, these are going to pay themselves off. It's a good speaker. Even if you just have one for your cart, They got loud enough that Jeremy and I a couple times were like, oh, we might need to turn these down. We're kind of in the middle of a couple fairways, and it feels like we are the hub for the music for the neighborhood. So maybe just turn them down a bit. But they're great. I'll highly recommend. Okay, golf trip was great. I wrote this down. The past. One of the focuses on this trip. And I think this is a good thing for a lot of people to remember, especially as we get older. I suffered with this a lot. I think I suffered with it a lot, but this has been my focus. I talked about this on the golf trip. This has been my focus lately. I have so many good memories in the past. And on this golf trip, for instance, I have great memories from past golf trips. And I think when you do things a lot, like we went camping at Sullivan Lake I went for 20 straight years, right? Or 20 some straight years before I moved to Kentucky. Same with Hoop Fest. Played Hoop Fest for 20 some straight years until I moved to Kentucky. And so when you do something like this every year, I think as you get older, you start to focus on, like, when you get together with the friends, you're like, dude, do you remember that year? Do you remember that year in like 2004? And the whole time you're doing the event, you're at the camping trip, or you're at Hoop Fest, or you're at this golf trip, the whole time you're there, all you're doing is talking about years past and like 10 years ago and 15 years ago. And I was like, that sucks. It doesn't suck to remember the great memories from these golf trips. It doesn't. But to like live in them and talk about them nonstop, which we've done before, it sucks because we're in one of the trips right now. You're at Hoop Fest, you're at Sullivan Lake camping. I was at the golf trip, and I thought, no, I don't want to sit here and do this whole golf weekend while we, have a good time talking about things that happened in the past. I want to make the memories right now that in 10 more years, I'm thinking about when I'm not at the golf trip. So that's kind of been my focus as I wrote it down on this card, the past. It's kind of been my focus with a lot of things. If it's something that I do a lot, I'm really trying not to focus on looking back while I'm doing something and being like, dude, do you remember the time when this happened? And living in that moment. I want to be present in the current version of it so that I can log another entry into the card catalog of things that I've done. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe you don't struggle with it at all. But if you do, if it's something that you realize, you're like, man, last time I was with my buddies doing something we do a lot, I really focused a lot on talking about the days gone by. And I'd highly recommend not doing that and doing current. It's the Rick Lukens, bad sports broadcaster from 700 ESPN. I said it. I didn't think he was that great. But he would always talk about the 1995 Mariners. And it was always my joke, like when I talked to Kev or whoever, was like, I wonder if Rick's going to talk about 95 Mariners today on Dennis Patchen's radio show. And he would. And it's like, that man couldn't enjoy anything current because he just wanted to relive glory days. And I don't know, man. I think that's a bummer way to go because you could be living in currents, and then in 20 more years, you've got a whole big catalog of memories. Okay. Rick Lukens catching strays today. Sorry, Rick. Rick and I always got along with Rick. That was one thing that always bothered me listening to their show is always 95 Mariners. Peace out. 4 in a row.